make that choice back in 1812. And now I'm living it.
That's neat. Yeah, I think I would want a visual more than someone just telling me. It's more believable if I can see it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool to know if I had a past life.
Oh, I bet you did.
And so am I good to say that you've written books on this and it's distributed all around?
Yes, I actually have written 3 books. The first one is called Want, Past Lives, what is it called? Past Lives, True Love, Past Lives, and Other Complications. And that one is kind of like a fictionalized story. Don't tell anybody, but it's really my own story. But I change it around a little bit to protect the innocent.
Mm-hmm.
But it talks about meeting a spiritual teacher meeting her soulmate and what happens from that. And it's really interesting because it gets into the true understanding of what soulmates really are. They're not what you think. They're not, walking arm in arm off into the sunset together on the beach. There's a lot of misnomers about soulmates. So I get into that, and I throw in a lot of information about past lives and doing the work that I do. But really, telling the story of what happens from it and what is recalled and what goes on with this person that was my soulmate. And that's the first book that I wrote. And then the second one I wrote is called Know, K-N-O-W, A Spiritual Wake-Up Call. And that one is a nonfiction book that really specifically talks about my teachings and goes into a lot of details about, the information that I present. But it also has little kind of, I don't want to call it homework, but little exercises at the end of each chapter so that you can really start to experience some of the information. It took me a long time to write that book because I felt like, no, I shouldn't be putting this stuff in a book because it's so experiential. But I figure, what the heck, why not have the information out there? And if people want to experience it more, they can from reading the book, or they can contact me and I can, help them with it. And then the third book that I wrote, which is my most recent book, talks about my husband having a stroke, and it's called Back, Rebirth After Stroke. And it talks about kind of what I went through, what I learned from dealing with this situation that was, really life-changing and terrifying and brought up every fear in the book. Excuse me. It was funny because I started posting little things on Facebook when he had his stroke, because we had a lot of friends that wanted to find out what was going on. And I started writing, because I'm pretty wordy. So I started writing, this is what's going on. But I would always end it with some kind of a spiritual lesson that I was learning from the experience. And people would read these things and I would get like hundreds of likes and comments and all of that. And toward the end of the experience, I had people say to me, gosh, you should put this into a book. You should really make a book out of this. It was so interesting. So I said, okay, what the heck? I'll do that. And it talks about the first year of his stroke and what we learned and what we went through and how I kind of dealt with it on a spiritual level and what I needed to learn and process from all of it. Excuse me. And so that's what that book is about. And I'm currently working on a book that talks a little bit more about past lives and that sort of thing. So that will be out in the future. But yeah, that's what I've written so far.
So far.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat. Do you think you'd write or do an audiobook on, if you haven't already, on your process of connecting with that past life?
You mean like a step-by-step, here's how to do it, let me talk you through it, that kind of book?
Right.
No. No, because the reason I'm saying no so emphatically is that when people go through the process, they really need somebody to be there with them. It's not just a step-by-step, here you go, everybody's the same cookie cutter kind of thing. It really needs somebody to be there to kind of direct you or focus you or ask the right questions or be safe for you to listen to. There's emotions that come up. Sometimes there's physical sensations that come up. It would be really concerning for me to put it out there in that format. So, but you never know in the future, who knows? But no. As of now, I'll say no.
I'm intrigued, and I hope everyone listening is as intrigued as I am. How do we get in touch with you and say, hey, we want to book one of these experiences?
Well, it's all on my website, roycemorales.com. And there's a lot of information there. There's a lot of links that you can click on to reach me or to read more or to watch videos that I've done about it. But that's really the best way.
Awesome. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Royce. You intrigued me for the day.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Thanks for coming on to this episode. I hope people find it as intriguing as I did and want to learn more. I'm like, I wonder if this is does this fit my pockets?
Yes, it does. I kind of always think that just doing this one person at a time can change the world. So I'm glad that we're putting it out there to a larger audience. I really appreciate that because, we've got to do it with the world the way it is. We're all kind of crying out for some kind of growth and change and transformation. So let's do it.
Let's do it. Growth, change, and transformation. I like it. All right. I'm intrigued, and you should be intrigued because that's pretty cool. I want to know what past life I had and what I was doing. Was I still doing the same stuff? Was I being crazy as usual? Who knows? Thanks for tuning into this week's episode of the Things That Nature podcast. I'm your host, Rockshana, and our guest today was Royce Morales. Be sure to tune in each week for a new episode, and remember, everything and anything goes. The sky is the limit.
Music for the Things That Nature podcast is an original track brought to you by Jared Sacramento called Dosage.